There was a very interesting development when presidential candidates in one of the minor, smaller independent presidential candidates were presenting their papers for clearance by the IEBC. One candidate actually forgot to come with his running mate. Yeah, they completely forgot. And this raises an interesting question. How important is the running mate, yeah, in the current political scenario we have in Kenya? Now, we know in the past, in the days of Jomo Kenyatta and in the days of Moi, the whole idea was to make sure that your vice president does not overshadow you. Yeah. Therefore, politically, it was important if the vice president had a bit of political clout, like the time when Mwai Kibaki had, then it was the work of the presidential handlers to make sure they clip as many of those wings as possible. Yeah. Or although in Kibaki's case he was quite wise, what he did, he lied low like an envelope. Yeah, he just disappeared. Yeah, he was very low key. That's the whole idea. You don't try to overshadow the president. Yeah. But in the new political dispensation, where we have very competitive elections for president, the running mate has become extremely important. And maybe we can take that from the example of Uhuru Ruto, whereby Ruto was a key member of that team because he delivered the Rift Valley vote, without which President Uhuru would not have come anywhere near victory of the 2013 elections. Okay. Now, an interesting scenario and a deep contrast is actually the NASA situation currently. Yeah, and NASA supporters, you'll excuse me for discussing this, but it is clear to be seen. Now, in the case of NASA, both in 2013 and currently, the choice of the running mate was not really done according to advantage to the presidential candidate. Yeah, I believe it was assumed that the presidential candidate was much, much stronger, because in the case of NASA, for instance, you have a very strong presidential candidate, flag bearer for NASA, and all the other people are political minnows. Yeah, excuse me, with all due respect to them. Yeah, they do not carry sizable votes. They do not carry sizable following. Yeah, and therefore, in the case of NASA, whichever running mate you chose would have fairly minimal impact on your presidential votes. In fact, in the NASA case currently, there's even doubt over the Kamba vote. Yeah, there are a lot of question marks still on the Kamba vote. A lot of people, of course, are insisting there's no problem, they'll vote solely for NASA. But that's not what we're hearing from the ground. Because you see, it is one thing to sit down in Nairobi in an office and to make assumptions based on what you know before. You know what you already know. Maybe you're from Ukambani. You sit down and you assume, I already know the Kambas. They're just going to vote for NASA, to a man. Yeah, and you make that assumption. And it is okay to make assumptions. A lot of times assumptions are correct if you know the area well. But sometimes they are wrong. And this is the case in Ukambani, because there are a lot of mumblings. And indeed, even the NASA High Command are already aware of this, because their plans going forward they're going to focus a lot on the Ukambani area to try and appease the Kambas and make sure that actually the vote goes to NASA. It's not a done deal yet. Yeah, that's the truth. So this is the interesting scenario with the deputy presidents or running mates. They should be very important. They should be able to maybe deliver a key area which the main candidate would not have been able to get on his own. But in the case of Kalonzo, it's a bit tricky, because we also have other major giant Kamba politicians. One example that comes to mind is a man like Johnston Muthama. Johnston Muthama, even without Kalonzo Musyoka deputy president, Johnston Muthama is the kind of person who would be able to garner quite a lot of votes for Raila Odinga from Ukambani. Yeah, very interesting. Yeah, but that is the reality. And obviously, those analysts would say that this is a weakness in terms of NASA, that they should have opted maybe for another deputy president running mate from another area, where maybe they would have been able to gain a sizable amount of votes. Yeah. Anyway, that is my opinion. This is Chris Kumekucha. Till next time.